The Coaches Show is brought to you by Highway 55, Burgers, Shakes, and Fries. The Professional Fence Company. Our name says it all. No job too big or too small. Nunboys.com. And GPS Photography and Video, GPSPhotoandVideo.com. Welcome to the Coaches Show. It is back for another week. Highway 55. One of our key sponsors just had the cheesesteak, and it is delicious.
But I had shrimp earlier today.
Or I should say cheese, the Philly cheese chicken.
Ooh.
It wasn't cheesesteak.
You doubled it up.
At any rate, the show is brought to you by Professional Fence Company, profence.com. Find them on the web. Their name says it all. No job too big or too small. Give them a call. 910-875-5912. Nunboys.com. Embroidery, t-shirts, marketing. GPS Photography and Video, GPSPhotoandVideo.com. Coach, it's like we can't get it out of our own way. Turnovers, penalties, and then you had to deal with the weather.
Oh, no.
Lightning forced us to have a kickoff on Saturday. I mean, did you find yourself where everybody was all ready to go, and then you had to pull them back and settle them down and get ready for the next day? Was that an advantage or a disadvantage?
I don't know that it was either. To a certain extent, that was the case. We were ready to play, and we fully intended to play. Coach McLaurin wanted to play. I wanted to play, and in the end, I'm not real sure how it got called or why it did, but you know, the thing is, it got called, and we agreed to move it to the next day at 12 noon. And
you always got to err on the side of safety. With the Lightning, I mean, we were literally minutes from kickoff, and then the rain came. That being said, overall, the team seemed to play better.
We did. We played much better in certain phases, and gleaned as many positives from that as we could, and pointed out, you know, where we gotta continue to work to improve.
Well, the biggest takeaway I took was the offensive line. You know, they've quietly put together a good little season, and Jacob Rushing is over 500 yards rushing. Largely to their credit, they've been making some holes for him.
No doubt about it.
And when we talk about the weight room, look at that offensive line and see that push away. Mm-hmm. The flip side of that, obviously going on to the defense, is we haven't been able to stop anybody. But to their credit, they've been given a short field, and they've been on the field much too long.
Been on the field too long, been put in bad situations on short fields, primarily because of turnovers.
Right.
And you know, and then we make mistakes. We have them in 4th and 9,
mm-hmm.
and for whatever reason we jump offside
twice. Yeah,
and then you know, and then we've got them in 4th and 4, and we line up offsides. And I look around and I think, wow.
Is it just mental? They're so anxious because they have a sense of urgency to play.
They do.
They want to go, and you can see it. I just attribute them still being young. You have a young team.
No doubt about it.
And a lot of people don't understand. There's a lot of sophomores and juniors and some freshmen out there playing, getting a lot of playing time. The 20-some seniors, I think you got 3 or 4 that's playing regularly.
So some of them that hadn't even played, but some of the older ones hadn't played very much. The other thing that
some haven't played at all.
That's right. And the other thing that I wanted to mention was a lot of people are forgetting about the schedule. Now, I'm not completely going all in on this, but New Hanover, Jack Britt, and 71st are not some cream puff teams that were
all
playing
playoff teams. You know, 71st went to the 3rd round.
Right, and had a lot of momentum coming into the season with Paul Underwood and those guys coming back.
And you see the bottom side of our schedule.
Right, but defensively, Coach, you know, I know you've been working hard. I know you've had those heart-to-hearts. What are you telling the kids this week that they need to do to get in the win column? Are you telling them that there's something we need to do specifically?
We are not playing physical defense. You watch us in spots, and we're in the right places. We're getting to the point of attack, but when we arrive, we're breaking down and catching people instead of
making a tackle.
Instead of creating collisions.
Right. You're right. About an arm
So it's a
tackle
little
and then just whipping on them.
little reactive.
Well, it's just finishing.
Right.
We got to do a better job at finishing plays on defense.
We are literally being the sled, and they're pushing us down the field. That's the best way to describe it.
Well, in I guess in some ways maybe it is, but you know, to see us move and to make the right reads and get to the right spots, and then arrive and take up a
Right.
defensive posture instead of be aggressive and physical and use the momentum that we've generated by starting out. You know, it's a finishing issue.
Well, one of the things that I've learned in being close to football, and it mainly with Earl Wolf when he was playing for Hoke, and then he went up to NC State, and I started interviewing him after games there. He said, Mr. Nunn, the difference in high school football and college is so vast, but the one thing that he did learn was that reactive moment. He said, in high school, I was sort of learning everything, but now that I'm in college, I'm able to do it without thinking. Is that something you're trying to get these kids to do? React without thinking?
Every day we preach it relentlessly. We tell them know and go, because the game does not afford you time to think.
Okay.
And the thing about it, if they are out there thinking, then they're going to end up getting hurt.
Or missing the play.
You're thinking about it, you know, fast is smooth, smooth is fast. I mean, it's got to
Right.
go. And if they're thinking about it, maybe they're thinking about it too much.
Well, and part of the frustrating piece, and it's easy to see on film, we have personnel who, for whatever reason, because somebody else has made a mistake, they abandon their responsibility purely in the attempt to make a play, but in so doing, it creates another mistake.
Right.
And a mistake on top of a mistake on top of a mistake. And it's just very little things. And you can't fault them because they're trying to make plays and they're playing as hard as they can. And the key, and we work on this again relentlessly. I hate to beat that word to death, but you know, we work on doing your job.
Repetitive.
You know, if your teammate makes a mistake, you can't compound it by making one to try and
Make
cover
up
for
for it.
his.
Okay, so if you're overcompensating a little much, it's gonna not only put you in jeopardy, it's putting where you left in jeopardy.
Correct.
It's gonna open up another hole. Glenn?
Looking at the offense, you slowed it down. I noticed that you huddled up this week. Weren't flashing the signs. Didn't really slow the game down, but it seemed like there was a lot of teachable moments. They were more receptive. Was that by trial and error or something you did purposely?
Completely by design.
Okay.
I was not happy with our game pace. I was not happy with our pace getting lined up. We were not fluid. I felt like we were dragging around. And so what we did was we addressed it by huddling, making sure we placed a extreme sense of urgency on breaking the huddle, getting to where we're supposed to be, getting lined up. It was effective. You know, you could tell the difference. We got where we were supposed to be. We played probably as well offensively as we have all season.
And you can tell it's coming. I mean, one other thing, how is Michael Locklear, Coach?
Michael's good. Michael has a bad stinger. You know, he's not practiced. He didn't practice Monday, and he did a lot of movement stuff on Tuesday, and then of course on Wednesday we began working him back in. But you know, he's cleared.
Yeah.
He looks good.
It didn't look bad, but they took all the precautions, brought out the straight board ambulance, and that's a credit to the way North Carolina high school football has progressed.
Well, it's a credit to Coach Schmidt, to our trainer.
Yes, awesome
You know,
training staff.
she does a great job, and she was on top of it every moment. And you know, she's the best. She does a great job.
What about Brandon Smith? How's he coming along?
Brandon Smith is getting better. He looked good today. It's day to day. You know, it's day to day.
So he has had a horrific, what was thought to be just a sprain, may have been a little bit worse than what he first started with.
Well, no, a couple of things have happened where he's tried to come back a little bit too soon and subtly aggravated it, and not to the point where it would take him out, but just, you know, keeping him from being 100%.
Right. Well, Coach, that's pretty much going to do it for this segment. I mean, we've done as good. We're 3 weeks into the season. But the thing about it, and this brings back to your question you had last week, Hal, you know, is there anything that you need? Is there anything that you're lacking? What you're lacking is support. And for all those people out there on social media saying, hey, we're going to fire 12 coaches, fire the 80, that's not going to happen.
In week 3, it's not going to happen.
Pat your brakes. It's not going to happen, period.
Not gonna happen.
You got to stay the course. It's all about changing the culture. It's all about building the program.
Well, we talked about that. We talked about that last week. And,
Let's get it on with Turkey Bowl.
there are so many things that go into what we do. It's not just about football. I mean, we address the academic side. We
Right.
address that
You got
weekly.
student athletes.
And my thing is, yeah, we want to win football games, but we also want to make sure that the kids who have the capabilities to play on the next level have the opportunities.
Yeah.
And if they don't, if they don't have the grades,
They're not going to go.
They're not gonna
to
go.
me, I've always said that's the saddest thing. You can say, okay, we lost 68 to 8 with the JV, or 63 to 6 on the varsity. At the end of the year, and you got kids, you got all these college coaches that come into Hope County, and then they say, hey, Coach Perez, I would love to have him, but I can't recruit him. And then they get in their car and go down 401 to 71st, Jack Britt, other schools, and that kid gets a scholarship, not our kid. And that's what, to me, you got to focus on. We got student athletes. If you're out there just watching football, you're just watching a bunch of Neanderthals run up and down the field. And we're doing the kids an injustice.
well, and with the evolution in the NCAA sliding scale, it has changed. It's
Right.
gotten more stringent.
Definitely.
You look at all the
core classes,
discrepancies, and obviously it needs to be, but we work very hard to make sure our kids are good students, and at the same time we work very hard trying to win football games.
Well, that's going to do it for this segment. When we come back, we're going to talk about Southview as they come into Hope County here on Friday night. We'll be right back.